Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be doing a trailer breakdown of the first full trailer that we've gotten for the Birds of Prey movie, which is coming out next February. Um, and this kind of clarifies a lot of things that we've been seeing, and we've been seeing some rumors, we've been seeing some plot leaks. We actually have got an official plot synopsis, which does factor into this a little bit because there are some story elements that are taken up in this. So first off, they've established that Batman has quote unquote disappeared. Obviously because Ben Affleck has left the role. So they had to have a reason why he wasn't involved in this film at all. And so because of that, other supervillains have kind of moved in, or other crime lords have kind of moved in Gotham. Black Mask is one of those crime lords. He is played by Ewan McGregor. And he gets some more screen time in this. We actually get to hear some lines from him. Now, there was some rumors going around that Black Mask was going to be very feminine in this movie. He was going to be, I don't think they were going to make it. I don't necessarily know if they were going to make him gay, but they were going to have his character be very effeminate. And I don't. As far as I'm aware in this trailer, it doesn't necessarily appear that he is. I don't think he doesn't come off very flamboyant or anything like that. There's some things in this that I think don't add up with the leaks, and this could be some trailer trickery going on. It's a possibility because that has been done before with various movies, especially with movies that maybe the studio doesn't have that much faith in. Which there were some rumors coming out that the higher ups, the executives at Warner Brothers, did not have a lot of faith in this film going forward. But I digress. Let's just go into the trailer. So we start off with a monologue from Harley, where she basically describes what a Harlequin is. And she essentially describes it as without a master, a Harlequin has no purpose, because the whole purpose of a Harlequin, a classic version of a Harlequin, is it's kind of like a court jester. It's supposed to entertain. And she's talking to the actress who is playing Black Canary, who it is worthy to note they did race swap Black Canary in this, which if you took any look at the cast list, you would already know that, but. So she's talking to her at a bar. Presumably, we also see this same bar later on in the trailer where Black Canary is singing on stage. So there's some of these scenes that appear to happen in the same little area. But Harley's basically saying that she's explaining where she is at this point because apparently she's broken up with the Joker. There's a kind of a funny scene where she's throwing knives at a very poorly drawn portrait of Jared Leto's Joker on the wall. So. The whole idea is that she's supposed to be, she's messy breakup, obviously, because they're both psychopaths, and now she's kind of moving on. And then they do a little character spotlight, so that's when you have that scene of Black Canary singing on stage, and they have a little thing where she's singing, and then you see this little martini glass in the foreground that's vibrating, because, Black Canary's power is she has that screech, she can screech with her voice. Then we see a little bit of Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Huntress, where it shows her on a motorcycle with the little crossbow in her hand. So again, they definitely went away from the comic interpretations of the character. We don't have the cape and the mask and stuff like that. And Black Canary again is kind of very similar. Where again, it's more of like a leathery type of outfit. It's not really it's not the same as the outfit that she wears in the comic book. So. If you're looking for that type of accuracy, you're not going to get it with this film, or at least as far as we can tell. Now they do show a little scene with Black Mask at the beginning where he is in the white suit, and they show actually there's a couple of pics of him in the white suit. This could be from the same scene, because traditionally in the comics, Black Mask actually wears a white suit with a black tie along with his black mask. It is nice to kind of see that, although we don't really see him in the white suit for the rest of the trailer and the shots that we do get of him. But then we move forward through that, and we kind of go into this whole montage where Harley is running around with this young girl who presumably is the girl that has some kind of information that Black Mask wants, and that's kind of Harley's whole thing with this is she's trying to protect this girl or whatever or get her out of there. And it also appears that Black Mask, because Ewan McGregor at one point says Harley belongs to me, the idea that he's possessive or something like that. And again, you're portraying it with a supervillain, so I kind of understand that. It's different when you're. It would be different if like every single man in the film or every single person was possessive, but it makes sense because he's a fucking supervillain. I get it. I think a lot of people might twist that a little bit. And they might take it overboard. Again, this is a trailer. We're only getting a very small sample size of this. They could hammer that into the ground for all we know, but it's just something to note. We also get shots of Harley having her animated series hyenas, or at least one of them that we can see, which is interesting. It's kind of funny where it shows that they're sharing like a Twizzler or something. Again, it's a little bit amusing, and it's a fun little callback to the animated series where she had her pair of hyenas. And again, we move through and we touch on a few different little things as we go through this. There's a lot of action scenes, little clippets and snippets of action scenes where Harley is, running from people or fighting people and stuff like that, along with Black Canary, and Renee Montoya is also in this, who's played by Rosie Perez. There's that. Even though she doesn't really get too much in this, I think it just shows her leaving the police force at one point where she's walking through the police offices with a box. We get to see a little bit of that, but most of it is just kind of loose stuff. And then at one point we see where all of the characters are essentially together. You have Renee Montoya, the girl, Black Canary, and Huntress, and they're all in the same room with Harley, and she basically says, like, if we're going to get out of here alive, we're going to have to band together, and then we're going to have to fight off all these people. And basically they all say she's nuts, but apparently they all agree with her at some point, because then, you wouldn't have a movie. And, quote unquote, the birds of prey are formed. But that's the kind of idea that this movie seems to be going with, is these people kind of come together for what appears to be a from what I can tell, it's kind of a necessity type of thing, as opposed to, they're all friends and they kind of call each other up. Harley Quinn does this kind of funny thing where she says, "Oh, it's a slumber party, let's order a pizza," or something like that. Again, she's supposed to be psychotic, and I do like the way that Margot Robbie plays Harley Quinn. I think she does a fairly good job at kind of nailing that psychotic behavior. And then the last thing of the trailer, which is actually pretty damn funny, I thought this was pretty hilarious, was the girl is talking to Harley, and I forget, she says like woman or something like that. And she says, "Oh, you don't call a chick, you're that crazy chick, aren't you? You don't call a girl that you don't call another girl a chick. You say this is, or sometimes a bitch." And then she just literally, in the middle of the conversation, she hands the girl an explosive and says, "Throw it out the window." And there's a car that's chasing them. You can see that I think there's a bullet hole in the front window of the vehicle that they're driving. And then the car behind them blows up, and then they just drive on their way. And again, it's kind of one of those things, is like, okay, I could see Harley Quinn doing something like that. Like, that seems plausible to me. So I think the tone was all right. I don't really care much for the music in it. It's kind of this like classical, like almost operatic type of thing. I feel like, if you put like Joan Jett's Bad Reputation or something over it, it might be a little bit more suitable. But they go with this kind of classical tone. I don't really care that much for it. It worked. It's very similar in visual tone, I feel like, to Suicide Squad. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. I did kind of like the visuals and the costumes and stuff in Suicide Squad, so I don't really have too much of a problem with them continuing that. And again, Harley Quinn is a character from that film, so I kind of understand carrying that aesthetic forward. But I'm not I'm not sold on this movie. I wasn't sold on it to begin with. I still think this could very easily be a flop, and I'll probably do a will it fail on this, closer to its release date, maybe January or something. But overall, I don't think the trailer was bad. I think the trailer portrayed what it needed to portray. It gave you the setting I don't necessarily think it gave away too much. If you're a comic fan, obviously you can assume certain things over other things, or you know what certain things mean over other things. Like, a lot of comic fans won't necessarily know the whole thing with the Black Canary singing and the martini glass shaking. They won't necessarily know that, but people that are comic fans will get that. So I'm at least glad they're going somewhat in that route. And I don't think there was anything glaringly wrong with the trailer. And again, this is something that Birds of Prey in the comics is, it's a bunch of female supervillains / superheroes teaming up to do various things. So again, if you're going to make a movie about it, I think that they're going about it in an okay way. Again, this could be trailer trickery for all we know, but as of right now, this doesn't look terrible, and it's coming out in a time frame where I'm fairly certain there's not a lot that's going to be going up against it in February. So only time will tell. We'll see how things develop with this. I haven't heard too much negative stuff in the PR about this, other than the whole stuff with Warner Brothers executives not having faith in the film. But I want to know what you think. As usual, I will link the trailer in the description below if you would like to watch it. But tell me what you think about it. Do you think that this could be a viable film? Do you think this is at least a fun movie? Maybe you could somehow enjoy it. Do you like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and these other actresses coming in as the various characters? I want to know what you think. Tell me in the comments. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?